Children are typically the most innocent of us all, but that's not always the case. In this video, we'll be covering some of the most evil children to ever live: Andrew Golden and Mitchell Johnson. In 1998, Andrew Golden and Mitchell Johnson, who were 11 and 13 at the time, shot up their middle school playground in Jonesboro, Arkansas, killing 5. The pair pulled a fire alarm and shot fleeing students from the bushes as they tried to escape. As they were so young at the time of the shooting, both have since been released. But Arkansas law has since changed around juvenile trials as a result. John Venable and Robert Thompson. At just 10 years old, John Venable and Robert Thompson kidnapped 2-year-old James Bulger from a shopping center near Liverpool, England, and took him to a railway line. There, they brutally beat him with a crowbar, shoving batteries in his mouth, and left him lying on the tracks. The pair had visited the shopping center looking for a victim and passed 38 people as they took Bulger across the city, offering several explanations on their way. They were locked up until the age of 18 before being released with new identities in 2001. Kip Kinkle. When 15-year-old Kip Kinkle, said to be obsessed with explosives, was expelled from Thurston High School in Springfield, Oregon in 1998, his father told him he would have to improve his behavior or go to military school. Kinkle responded by shooting his father in the back of the head, then waiting for his mother to return home and repeating the attack on her, too. The next day, the killing still undiscovered, he returned to school and fired 50 rounds at classmates, killing 2 and injuring another 25. He was sentenced to 111 years in prison. Eric Smith. Having been excluded from a summer camp, 13-year-old Eric Smith found 4-year-old Derek Roby alone in a nearby park, lured him into the woods, strangled him, dropped a rock on his head, and sodomized him with a stick. Smith ultimately served 27 years for the crime, being released in 2021. Joshua Phillips. At 14 years old, Joshua Phillips invited his 8-year-old neighbor, Maddie Clifton, over to play catch. Then he says knocked her out by throwing a ball too hard. Fearing the fallout, Phillips hit Clifton on the head with a baseball bat to keep her unconscious and hid her under his bed. When she later began moving, he cut her throat. Clifton was missing for 6 days before she was found by Phillips's mother, with the killer even participating in a search centered on another suspect: Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof was 21 when he gained acceptance into a largely African-American church in Charleston, South Carolina, before activating a murderous plan and shooting dead 9 church members in cold blood. Roof had been fostering neo-Nazi beliefs and committed the attack in hopes of igniting a race war. He was later convicted of 9 counts of murder. Brian and David Freeman. Brothers Brian and David Freeman killed their parents and brother in Pennsylvania in 1995 when they were 17 and 16. After years of escalating interest in Nazism, the pair gagged and stabbed their mother over an argument about bringing their cousin home, then beat their father and brother to death in their beds. Both had recently tattooed their foreheads with Nazi slogans and claimed the murders stemmed from years of family animosity. Coroners described the beatings in particular as amongst the most brutal they had ever seen. Pierre Folio. As shocking, perhaps, as the crimes of a 14-at-the-time Pierre Folio were, is the callous way in which he committed them. A well-liked choir boy from a tiny village in the north of France, Folio shot his parents, brother, and sister with his father's hunting rifle, with only the sister, who had locked herself in a bathroom with her dead mother's body, surviving. Folio killed each as they returned home, watching Shrek between attacks, and then casually rode his bicycle to a phone booth to alert the police. Mary Bell. In 1968 in Newcastle, England, Mary Bell told 4-year-old Martin Brown she'd massage his sore throat, then strangled him on her 11th birthday. 2 months later, with Brown's death thought to be an accident, her friend Norma Bell joined in, as Mary strangled 3-year-old Brian Howe before maiming his body with scissors and hiding him. Ultimately, Bell was caught out by talking about evidence that wasn't publicly known in a police interview. She was in prison for 11 years, then released under a pseudonym.